It's the year 2026, and the world as we knew it is long gone. The price for an egg is $5,000. The United States have nuked Finland and took control over their eggs production. AI porn has replaced OnlyFans, and MrLikeA.com doesn't shoot like us anymore. But all of this doesn't matter because this film camera shoots infinite digital photos, or at least are infinite for people loaded with cash like me, and not like you, pathetic little piece of shit.
Hello amazing people of the internet, and welcome back to your favorite family-friendly film photography channel, where we only talk about Nikon DSLRs. You know, I bought the Nikon F100 about a year ago, and it's been a pleasure to use it ever since. This system is really overlooked. And not just the Nikon F100, I mean all the film SLRs made from the 90s until the mid-2000s. My goal is not to make a technical video about this camera, but to share a couple of short stories and my first-hand experience with this beautiful piece of gear. The Tokyo Marathon on film. Once a year, Tokyo hosts the Tokyo Marathon, an incredible international event that brings tens of thousands of runners to the city. There's something about the energy in the air during a marathon that's hard to explain. It gives me goosebumps every time. I tried to get a media pass from ASICS, the main sponsor for the marathon, and of course I was rejected. Anyway, I had a plan, cycle around Tokyo to follow the marathon course and take serious bangers. It was a beautiful, bright Sunday morning. I left home around 7 a.m. and cycled 10 kilometers to Shinjuku, where the race would start at 9:05 a.m. By the time I arrived, the city was packed. Runners were warming up. Friends and families were gathering to see the start of the race, and police and volunteers were making sure everything ran smoothly.
Oh my god, I'm so
2 minutes,
excited.
5 seconds.
I'm so excited.
2 minutes.
There's a shitload of people right now here.
It's crazy.
Man. I already took 14 photos.
Nice. There you go. How many rolls of film do you have?
Like 5.
Yes.
I don't care, I want to shoot as much as possible.
At 9:05 sharp, the race began. First, the wheelchair athletes flew by like rockets. Then came the elite runners. If you've never seen the front pack of a marathon, you have to at least once in your life. I shot 90% of the photos with this lens, the Nikon 35-70 2.8D AFS lens, a beautiful piece of glass from the 90s. I paid only $50 for this unit because apparently it has some fogging. However, I've seen no problems in my results so far. And it's crazy that you can get for $50 such a piece of glass. It was time to get back on the bike and race to the second spot. We made it to the Imperial Palace, then down to Kanda at the 13th kilometer mark.
In front of me, there's a ton of people running, and I finished my first row.
We'll figure it out. We'll keep it up.
This is so fun. Alright, so we are in Otomachi area, and that's where we're gonna spend the majority of our time. We're trying to find a spot to see all the finishing lines, and it's quite tricky because from this side everything is blocked.
The race was ending in front of the Imperial Palace, with runners sprinting through Marunouchi's shiny skyscrapers for the last few kilometers. Depending on the subject, I was switching between my two zoom lenses, the 18-35 and the 35-70. I am not used to have this type of flexibility when shooting film. At that point I was completely in the zone, taking as many photos as possible, trying to tell a good story. I even forgot that I was not using a digital camera. So that was the first scenario, fast-moving subjects. This camera performed very well and it was a pleasure to use. The metering system is incredible. The lens that I used, the Nikon, even though it's a bit old, it's fantastic. But, I mean, you don't need to listen to me saying this, you basically already know it. You're here because you want to see this video and satisfy your FOMO and go to eBay and buy the first one, right? So now to the second scenario. A rainy weekend in Tokyo. The second story isn't as exciting, but I think it shows how this camera performs in a more casual setting. Last weekend the weather was miserable, rainy and windy. Normally I'd think twice before bringing my Leica out in these conditions. It's a beautiful camera, but let's be real, it's fragile. The Nikon on the other hand is weather sealed, so time to put it to the test. If you're new to the channel, you have to know that I have two so-called best friends here in Tokyo, Julian and Luigi. I don't really like them, but they are the only ones who actually talk to me. Oh, I'm joking, you guys are the best and the cutest couple ever. Wish you good luck finally moving together in Shinjuku. We've been through several camera phases together. The Leica phase, the Ricoh GR phase, and now we are deep into the DSLR arc, and I'm all in for it.
There's gonna be a resurgence and all the YouTubers are gonna talk about...
I think many are already doing that.
No, in fact, I don't want to miss the fucking train, and now I'm gonna hype about SLRs
You have to
and
buy
get
some first.
a ton of views. Yeah. You have to milk the cow until it's dead. First, we do a video about the Nikon F100. Then we have to do a video about the D850. Then we need to do a video about the D700.
Yeah.
That is better than the D850. It costs 1/10 of that price. That's how you milk the cow, man. That's the YouTube cow. You have to milk it.
So as I was saying, it was a rainy weekend and these were perfect conditions for some real bangers. But not your usual depressing shots of people walking with umbrellas. No. In Shinjuku when it rains, the skyscrapers disappear into the mist. Combine that with respooled Kodak Vision 3 film and you have the perfect recipe for cinematic shots. Anyway, we were searching for the mist, but unfortunately we got only rain. Before going home, we went to the 50th floor of a random building, and the view was nothing special, but nevertheless I took some photos. I was shooting in aperture priority mode, and I'm pretty sure the shutter was around 1/15th of a second. We kept walking and talking about Nikon cameras for 2 hours, but it wasn't the right day for what we wanted to shoot. So we decided to go home, rest, and go back to Shinjuku the next night for some more photography.
It's a horrible day in Tokyo. It's raining. Normally, especially if you shoot film, you don't really want to go out and have all your gear wet. But with this, there's no problem. So this is one of the advantages of using a chunky, heavy, but really cute SLR, which is you can use it in any weather condition.
It was rainy and windy, and the low clouds were covering the top of the skyscrapers. Before meeting with Luigi and Julian, I took a walk around Roppongi area.
The daily use, it's great. I mean, if it's raining, no problem. It's good in pretty much any scenario, but it's a chunky camera. There's other models that are a bit smaller. However, you have to consider that these SLRs are on the bigger side.
Anyway, I left Roppongi, met with the boys and went straight to Nakano to visit Fujiya Camera, one of the best places for cameras in all Tokyo. And of course, since I am an adult and I'm very conscious of my expenses, I bought a new camera. This is the Nikon 810 and has the flash. My god, look how cute it is. We finally got back to Shinjuku, and man, the weather conditions were just perfect. It was slightly rainy and humid, low clouds were covering the top of the buildings. It was Tones time. We went straight to the last floor of the government building, and we were covered in the clouds. We couldn't see anything from the windows. This is as cyberpunk as it can get. Shinjuku on a rainy day gives you serious Blade Runner vibes. Some final thoughts. This camera is amazing, you should buy it. It's overkill for whatever use you will ever make. Or maybe you're a pro and you really need it. In that case, you don't need to watch this video. However, yeah, I think it's a bit on the bulky side. So for daily photo walks, you have to consider that this occupies quite a bit of space inside my slinger, but it's so cheap. And for the results it produces and for the value, I think it's one of the best camera out there. You can get this beautiful tool for as little as $200, $250. This lens, the Nikon 50mm 1.4, I got it for roughly $100. So with less than $500, you can have an incredible setup and get fantastic photos. And it's so satisfying to handle. So if you're considering to purchase this camera, do it. It's amazing. It feels amazing. Makes me want to shoot good photos. And actually, it's really hard to take a bad photo. This camera does everything for you. There's only one problem. These cameras are still very cheap in 2025. And I think YouTubers will start talking about them this year, including me. I've seen Kyle McDougall posting a new video about this camera. Portra Papi has shared something on Instagram. Guys, prices will go up. And it's because of people like them and like me that ruin the whole market. Anyway, if film is getting too expensive for you, then consider getting a DSLR. The feeling is the same. It shoots infinite film photos. And honestly, it's a lot of fun to use. Anyway, thank you so much for being here this time, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.